Welcome to the Beyond the Vines podcast, where I interview local business owners in Sonoma County to highlight small business and grow our community. I'm your host, Amy Ehlers, a mom, realtor, and Sonoma County native, and I'm excited to connect you to some amazing people in this beautiful area that we call home. Welcome back to the Beyond the Vines podcast, where I interview local business owners in Sonoma County. I love being able to spread the word. I'm so thankful to everybody that's been listening and following us. I am here today with April Frederick. She's the owner of Estuary in downtown Petaluma. It is one of my favorite shops. The items that they have there are incredible. I can't wait for you to hear more about it. But she does focus on socially conscious goods that are available for all of us to learn more about. And so I'm so thrilled to have her here today. Welcome, April.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks for coming in. I'm so glad you're here. I would love to hear more about what inspired you to start Estuary and more about what you have available there.
Sure. So I've always wanted to have a business in downtown Petaluma. I started working in downtown Petaluma on Kentucky Street at a store called KCO. It's now Ethical Clothing when I was 18. And so I got the sense of downtown Petaluma. I always loved retail. And part of what I loved is talking to people downtown and getting to know then the people who lived around downtown Petaluma. So I always wanted to have a business in downtown. And I kept running business ideas through my head on what was needed. And Estuary came into being because at the time, the building that I wanted for so long became available and hadn't been available before. So there were certain locations in my mind. I always would walk downtown and look at the buildings inside and say, because, what would be right for what? And I always loved the Apple Box space, which is now River Cafe, and I love the Bluestone main building.
Yes.
And so that happened to be open for the first time in 30 years. And so the intersection of that being open and me being ready to get a store up and running. And I was looking around downtown and seeing the need at the time. Good Gray had left at the time, so we didn't have somebody who was selling those kind of goods. I was working on my front yard, putting in irrigation. I couldn't get good, nice-looking tools. I have a passion for where design and function cross over, and you get really pretty good design and functionality. That. So I was looking for that. So that's kind of how Estuary came into being, and we're right on the river. So that's how the name Estuary came into being too, is that to really promote the river, since the building goes from the front of the street, which used to be Main Street, to the river access. So really making sure that people can see the river through the store. We support river causes and do kind of fun things when we can with the river. I
love how that all ties together and how you thought of all of that and how that's embedded in your name as well. That's amazing. Can you tell everybody where you're located, what street you're on, and you can give a shout out to other businesses near you as well?
Sure. I'm 120 Petaluma Boulevard North, so I'm right by in the Bluestone main building, historic building. There's parking right on the side. I am right next to Cucina Paradiso, so that's a big spot where people go. The other spot people like is Starbucks across the street. So if you're at Starbucks, there's a crosswalk that crosses over, and you're basically at our store. Pretty close to our store.
Yeah. You're in a great location. You've got good window shopping in your spot, too.
I've got 15-foot by 15-foot windows. And normally one of those windows, if you're looking at the store, the window on your left is usually a community window. So you might not know that, but usually each month there's a event or something going on, and something in that window is tied to our community.
That's amazing. I noticed that on your website that you do have events featuring, certain artists or designers or people whose goods you focus on in your store. So I think that's great. Yeah. I love too on your website how you have like a window shopping tab where it's almost like you can go on the website and do like a little window shopping from your photos too. Yeah. That was so clever.
Oh,
so.
I just put that in. I don't have an online presence. I'm not selling anything online, but I did want people to get an idea of what I am selling at the store. And I don't think I did answer that part of the question, which is I sell clothing, women's clothing, men's clothing, home goods, bedding, and gardening is our main areas. And a lot of ceramics. I have a passion for ceramics. So really pretty ceramic lamps and bowls. And
I love
items,
that so much. That's great.
And art, different. So a collection. Lifestyle
really
store.
Lifestyle store. I think that's the way to word it. That's awesome. How do you find these products that you sell in your store?
So the way the products that I had when I started the store when I started the store, it was during COVID, and it was really hard to source items. So that was a challenge. For 6 months before the doors opened, I was stockpiling my house with product in a little storage area, and my house was just like this maze of boxes that I was collecting because it was so hard to get stuff in because the docks were full and you couldn't get product. But most of the items, all of the items that I have in the store, almost all, I have tested, or somebody I know and I'm close to and trust has tested.
Wow.
So the brands, when I first was carrying clothing, it was a brand. I would look in my closet. Okay, what is this brand? And then I would look, what is the story behind this brand? Is it women owned? And then what are the materials that they use and where do they produce it? Some of the clothing we have is produced in China, and people ask me about that. Most of the products, if that brand has chosen to manufacture in China, we've checked and they have told us that they have fair labor practices and they have something to back it up. So we're always asking those questions of our vendors, but the first pass was, do I love the design? Has it lasted for me? Right. And do I like the way it looks? Right. So those are the brands that I went out to. Same with homeware, same with gardening, everything. With gardening, the first brand I found was these lovely women on the East Coast who made gardening tools specifically for women.
Wow. Meaning like size?
Or, like they made the shovel so that when the shaft, the size, was certain heights for women, and the handle was actually, they did a bunch of research on hand size of women, how it's different than men.
Yeah.
And so they made the hand size of the shovel different, and then where your feet go so that you can use your hips more on digging. And so they did all this research. And so I bought shovels for them. I still have a few, but unfortunately after a few years they went out of business because there's not enough. You buy one amazing shovel, you don't really
You're good for a while.
You're good for a while. You don't need another amazing shovel.
That's a good
point. But it's been great finding brands like that and calling them and talking to them and learning their story and then using their products. And
that never occurred to me. Yeah, that you would need more of like a women's-sized tool. That's brilliant. I mean, there's kid gardening tools. My kids go to an ecology charter, so for them, like they have kid-sized gardening tool. So that's a really good point to make it more comfortable for women.
There's a lot of industries, if you look back, that were started by men, and so they just made products for themselves, not even really thinking, or maybe women weren't gardening at the time. I mean, we have always gardened. But yes, the tools have not been made specifically for us. And I was trying to actually start with functional clothing for gardening and working in your yard. Most of the brands at the time were making women's products, but they were just taking men's sizes and making them smaller.
Wow.
And so the fit wasn't very good. So I quickly just moved away from that because I was like, I'm not going to have something that fits the idea of what I want, but isn't.
Right. Quite perfect. Right. Yeah. I love that you have taken the time to do all of the research to bring these items to us and to bring it to Petaluma so people can walk into your store and the research has already been done for them on what you've curated. So.
And most items you can ask us. I've tried it. My sister's tried it. We know the owners. And then, so once business was up, then people started coming to us and saying, I'm a local business, or I would try something that was local, or somebody would give me something. And so that's how I've been able to curate a lot more local women-owned businesses in the store, which has been really, really great. And like the Alex Gold Art Show, or a lot of our apothecary. I've been moving away from apothecary that's not made in Sonoma County.
Wonderful.
So most of it is made here. I have 2 brands still that are not that I'm deeply in love with.
Yes, so all those can't go. Exactly.
So sometimes there's a little. There's always a reason there is something in our store. Yeah. We can tell you, and it's a 3,000 square foot store.
It's huge.
It's huge.
Yeah, your store is huge.
Yeah,
I love it.
There's a lot of products. So in our mind, we've got a lot of things running by, but there's always a story behind it.
Right. Yeah. Well, I was telling you for anybody that doesn't know, Copperfields hosts the Where's Waldo scavenger hunt every summer that my kids, that's their favorite part of summer, really. And so we were in your store, and I had been dying to go in there for so long, and I finally made it in, and they could not find Waldo for the life of them, which I was kind of happy about because I had time to really wander the 3,000 square foot store. Right. So you have so many things in there, so I was kind of glad they needed a lot of clues to find Waldo.
And we tell people, come in. One of the ideas, too, with Estuary was to come in and feel a break from the outside world. So when you come in, I hope that when I think about being in our store, it's about being in a space that hits all of your senses. So you should get a nice smell when you come in. You should be greeted by a nice voice, hopefully, of ours. There's music playing. There's, there's things to touch. There's things to look at. So hopefully, and there's the idea is that you calm and slow down a little bit.
Love it.
Even if it's you just are on your lunch break and you just want to take a walk around, just do a loop. You can go in the front and go out the back. It's totally fine by us. So it's come in and take a look. I hope people don't feel like they can't come in. For a while, there was a store there. The building has been Bluestone, Maine for 30 years. And the original Bluestone, Maine was magical. Just a beautiful, Maggie Best had done a beautiful store. And then for a little bit, I think there was a store there that the owner wouldn't let kids in the store, and it was closed for a while. And then it was an antique. Then it was a Ralph Lauren furniture store. Sarah owned it, and she was fantastic. But there was this little bit where it wasn't a great space, and so people still feel a little scared about coming in. So I was like, come in, you're welcome, kids are welcome, it's fine.
And I think the vibe of your store definitely, once they've stepped through that door, they'll feel that.
You just got to get them to step in through the threshold.
Totally, that's great. Are there any items in your store that are uniquely popular amongst locals here in Sonoma County or in Petaluma?
So there's two items that I just want to highlight that are popular people like in our Petaluma-based companies. So I have my neighbor who's great, Kate Sheehy Functional Pottery. So she does ceramics. She fires at Petaluma Pottery. So it's super local.
I love that.
And she's a mom in the community, so people know her. And her ceramics are beautiful. They look a lot like Heath. People remind them of Heath, but they are all handmade on a wheel. So it's really nice to see her pieces. And that's only exclusively sold at my store.
Wonderful.
And then Nick of Wise Made. So Wise Made is the brand, and he's got men's and women's clothing at our store. And it's just been fun to have him in the store. And it's all grown, milled, and made in the United States. And he's based him and his family are based in Petaluma. So I'd say those are both two local brands that are great and not to be missed in the store.
I love that. That's wonderful. One thing that stands out about Estuary is that you donate 1% of your net profits to local water causes. Can you tell us more about that, where you donate to, what the inspiration is with that?
And I should say it's actually, it was going to be all water causes, but there's so many schools that need stuff that I definitely am a soft touch for almost anything. So I've always wanted to give back. I was in natural and organic foods for 2 decades before I entered this. So sustainability and giving back has always been important to me. So I've always wanted to build it into the ethos of the business. So I have sponsored different things for Friends of the River, and then we put a poster up for Rivertown Revival.
Right.
And so they had a window for a little bit.
Great.
I do a lot of work with the Float House. I just did Witches and Wizards on the River.
Did you actually do that on the river?
On the river handed out
that's
candy.
So great.
I lowered down candy to people on the river, and I was
fun.
dressed in a witch's costume. It was super fun.
That's so fun.
And then we just had the Halloween trail, which was fun.
Yes.
So I do a lot with the Float House and Friends of the River, and just try to get people really aware when I talk to the press, when I talk to anyone, that what I feel makes Petaluma so unique is the river. And to get people excited about being on the river, doing stuff on the river, using it as a focal point. Hopefully we can get Water Street more activated and people can use it, and we can get more community events going down there and really making that space more lively.
It really, I think you're right. It needs that. And I think we're so lucky as a community to have the river tying everybody together. I think that's a really good point. Yeah.
And the river got a bad rap in the 80s and 90s. And it's coming around. And it is an estuary, and the brackish, brownish, the way it looks is because of the slow moving and because of the, things, I'm not going to explain it as well as people in the float house can, but it looks that way not because it's dirty.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, I do think growing up, a lot of the times we thought it was dirty, and then that was why. So I love that there's a little re-education about that.
Yeah.
So great. Oh, that's wonderful. So sustainability is a key part of conscious living and of the goods that you offer in your store. What kind of practices do you use in your store for sustainability? Obviously the products, but anything about packaging or the way you have things shipped to your staff, anything like that you want to share with us?
Yeah, it's a great question because whenever I tell people, like, why don't you talk about them more? I'm like, I don't know, I just forget about it. Sometimes you just do stuff.
This is who you are.
And you don't really think about it. So some of the things that, because we're a small store, I haven't felt like I have a ton of being able to push back on brands not to ship stuff to me in plastic, let's say. And I think one of the things that people may not be aware of is because so many people are shopping online. It used to be when you would order something, you would get a 6-pack or a 12-pack or a case pack. Now everything's packed individually because they ship them all. They all have a D2C and a direct-to-consumer. So it makes online shopping makes a lot more trash.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what we do is let's say a box comes in to the store, we unpack that box. If it has packing popcorn, which is now mostly cornstarch and can be, but still we keep ours and we give it to Chelsea up the street. They come and take most of our pack material. So we just call them.
And Chelsea's a store for anybody who doesn't know.
Yeah. So we just they come down and they take our boxes full of that. We take our cardboard down to Petaluma Pottery, and Forrest uses it to mail out his packaging and uses it to make stuffing. He has a machine that he uses to make stuffing for his packaging. So our cardboard goes that way. And then all the plastic that comes in, most of it we try to reuse either in as our garbage bags, or we try to put them outside the tree at my house for dog poop bags.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or we try to find creative ways to reuse it when we can, if they're able to be recycled. I think we just found that I think maybe at Safeway we can do some plastic recycling, and so we're trying to recycle there. So our back room is always kind of this mess of things that we're and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so much stuff that we're trying to sort out, but we're always trying to find a way to make sure that it doesn't wind up in like little floating things like styrofoam don't wind up in the river.
I was going to say that's part of your water, not concerns, but your passion for the water as well. That feeds right into that. So
we really just don't want things like that to go out. So
absolutely, I think it's so special.
Go ahead. I was going to say we also compost at the store. So I have a bucket. You'll see us walking. Somebody's like, "It looks like you're walking with your compost." I'm like, I am. I actually have a bucket that we keep in the store for flower cuttings in the store, for some of our food scraps in the store, for tissue paper. Any of those things can go in the compost, and the wrapping that we use in the store is all compostable.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So when you come in and get a gift wrapped, it might, it's not super, it doesn't have a foil on it. I don't use foil because that's not compostable. So you'll get a bag that has tissue paper that's printed, that's able to be composted, a raffia string or some kind of twine that can be composted, and usually we'll put dried flowers on it that come from our garden or someplace.
I love that.
So it can all go, try to reuse it as much as you can before you compost it.
For sure. That's something for people to keep in mind too as the holidays come up. That would be a great place to do some shopping and feel pretty good about your choices. So definitely. I think it's so special that you do all of that and that you take that extra time to make sure that, your mission is for your brand is actually supported by what you do in your actions. So I think that's great. I love that so much.
It's funny. I mean, and also we don't have a trash can because I don't like trash cans on Water Street, which you'll see me also working on.
Tell me more about that too.
Like we have one bag of trash. We only make one bag of trash a week at the store.
For the whole week.
For the whole week. It's usually not even, our trash can's like a bag. We actually have like a raffia bag that we use as our trash can, and we just take it home once a week and put it in our tiny trash can.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah. Wow. But on Water Street, yes, I don't like the trash cans on Water Street.
They're not pretty.
They're not pretty, and I think Water Street should be pretty.
Beautiful.
So I would like people to really start thinking about how we can make less trash on that street as businesses and keep it a little bit cleaner.
That's a really good point.
Enjoy.
Yeah, because I haven't even thought of that, so I love that you're bringing that up. So that's a very
I'm
good
glad
point.
you have that, because I walk on Water Street and all I see is like all the trash cans out.
Totally. I love that. Yeah, and that for anybody else listening too, I think that would be a good mission for them as well. Wonderful. How how has our community responded to your business since you've opened, to the mission of your business? Do you engage with your customers a lot? Like, tell me more about that side of things.
We engage with our customers a lot. We engage with the community a lot. I'd say we know people who come back to the store. We know who. Sometimes we don't always know their names, but we know their stories, or we've talked to them. We know their kids, their dogs. So we definitely engage with our customers in that way. I think it has been received well. People are excited to have a store that is for them. It's not for everybody. No one. It can't be everything for everyone, but. I think sometimes people feel like there isn't a store for them downtown, and usually most people can find something that they like, and for different ages as well at the store. So I think it has been well received, and I think the sustainability message, when we communicate it in a way not of you need to do this, but did you know this about this? And then they're like, oh, that's really cool that this face sponge you can use. You use it and then you compost it. Or did you know about our fiber shed, right? And do you know about wool in our fiber shed? We've got so many sheep. Wool is such an amazing product. Do you know about wool? Let me tell you about the fiber shed in Point Reyes. Let me tell you about our wool products. Let me tell you how they're climate beneficial. So we try to do it in a way that's a positive, and I think that's been well received. I don't think people always come to a product of, I'm buying this because it's sustainable. You usually come in, I'm buying it because it's functional, it's beautiful, it works, right? And if it's sustainable,
it's a bonus.
Great.
So your staff must be pretty knowledgeable to be able to share this information. I know your sister's the manager, correct?
Right.
Do you have other staff as well? Great.
So Gabby, my sister's the store manager, so she's been there when we were building out the space from day one in November. When we got the keys, it's almost 2 years.
Wow,
so she knows,
2 years already?
Almost 2 years.
Oh my gosh,
yes,
okay.
Yeah, so she's been there, so she knows all the products pretty in and out. And then Jess has worked for us since we opened too. And then Colleen, who's also, both of them are moms in town and well-known in the community. She comes back and helps. And everyone's been there since we opened.
Great.
So everyone has the same product knowledge from being around the store.
That's amazing. And that speaks really to you also, that you have that same core people this whole 2 years, and that they have so much knowledge about the products. That's great. Do you have any upcoming projects or events coming up soon? I know you kind of bring in some of your the designers of your products into the store. Do you have anything like that you'd like to share?
We have a really fun event coming up 11/9. So I do this. We call it our annual holiday party. It's our second year, and it's with Rabindra and Jen at Pennyroyal.
Great.
So the three of us get together. We love to. We feel that we're not competing with each other. We want people to know that, and we want people to know, like, shop at all of our stores. There's different things at all of our stores. We have different things to offer you. So 11/9 from 5 to 8 o'clock, you're welcome to come shop at all of our stores. We'll have beverages and food. We'll make it really fun for you, and we'll have a raffle. So we just put the raffle together last night. So it's a good raffle, and it's fun. So we're doing that 11/9. Okay. 11/26 is Small Business Saturday, and we'll be open late and doing Santa Claus Comes to Town. Yeah. We'll be doing some I'm really working on getting the plaza activated this holiday, so you'll see lots of fun stuff going on in the plaza. And then we have another event. I'm going to do we have our 2-year anniversary sale coming up.
Amazing.
I haven't done that before. I usually do one sale a year in the spring. But for our 2-year, we're going to do a 20% off sale.
Wow,
so
that's huge.
2 years, 20% off, and it will be November 16th through the 19th.
Great. Yeah. Okay, that's a good time to do holiday shopping,
it's a good time. It'll be store-wide.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't do a sale right after Christmas. So those are your 2 times to get
fantastic.
A sale at Estuary. Yeah.
So don't try to wait for Black Friday, because it's
not
coming.
Don't wait for Black Friday. It's going to be 20% off everything. I think
that's
even
amazing.
20% off our sale rack.
Okay, so I'm going to make sure I get over there for some holiday shopping.
Yeah, it'll be a good shopping time.
Yeah, and I love that you're open late. Small Business Saturday. I'm really hoping people take advantage this year and really get in downtown and try to see how many of the gifts that they need to purchase can be done right here in downtown Petaluma.
Yeah, definitely shop local. We will be open between Thanksgiving and Christmas. Thursday and Friday we're going to stay open till 8 o'clock.
Okay.
So that people, if you're working or not in the area, and you need to get out, or you need someone to be at home so you can get out, or you want to get out and meet your friend and do shopping. So Thursday and Friday till 8 o'clock. So I'm hoping to get more businesses to do that with me for those few week period.
I'm picturing like mom's nights out where you can like go grab a glass of wine at Barbara Cellars, walk down to Estuary, get your shopping done, and like you know, kids are going to bed at home, and you can just kind of get your holiday list attacked.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love that.
And we try to, and I was just talking to Jen and Rabindra about this, but we try to know what is in each other's stores, and it's great if other merchants do that as well. And we all say, like, we don't want people to say, oh, go online to go buy this, or I have to go online. We would love to tell people where you can get something in town. So if you're out shopping and you're like, on my list is a boys' baseball bat or something. Yeah. Where can I get it? I want to be able to say, oh, actually, I saw that at the antique store. They had one here.
I love
you know,
that.
we want to be able to send you around town to other retailers.
That's a great point, too. It helps, obviously, the consumers, but it helps the small businesses as well, just building the community and, like, up in that way of supporting each other.
Well, it's nice for everyone because you get, then you're like, oh, I don't have to leave. I can just walk over there and get it and cross off my list. I don't have to go somewhere else or look for something else, right?
Yep. That's great. I love that. What role do small businesses like yours play in like fostering that? I think we've really spoken to that the whole time, but I think, you know, other stores, are you finding that they are wanting to support the community in that way as well and trying to bring people downtown and helping each other out? Is that something you're kind of like starting grassroots, or do you feel like everybody's really helpul with each other?
I have found that everyone downtown is very helpful and receptive. Great. I have never run into a business that isn't open to talking to me, isn't open with information, I feel like we have a vibrant, passionate community of people and businesses, and everyone is very kind, you know, which is the beauty of it. So I think we all want to work together and really, you know, what can we do? I think independent retail is going away. Yeah,
absolutely.
Where I see, you know, branded stores everywhere, and I don't know if people know, you know, we get loyal to brands, right? We're like, oh, I love X brand, I'm going to shop that brand online, and then, well, the place that they sell to is no longer, you're not going to be able to go to a store that sells more than one brand, right? You're going to get branded product. So I think all of us realize as independent retail that we need to support each other, you know, to keep it going.
That's really important for the community to realize too, and to support those stores in that mission. So wonderful. So in your 2 years of business, is there any like really memorable moment that was either special to you or something like that you can think of?
Yeah. That was such a good question when you asked it, you know, because we can get so into the day. I think there's two things I think of. One is the first day I open. So, you know, I remember for some reason I was like down in the corner. I feel like I was scrubbing like a square on the floor before we opened, because there's just so many details. We got our keys November 1st and we opened November 20th. So we had 20 days to turn over the store, paint, build out everything. Yeah. So we were really just at the last minute. And I remembered I needed to go over to the bank to get changed. And I was so nervous, I felt like I was going to throw up. And I was trying to decide if I was really going to open, because I really thought, like, maybe I shouldn't do it today. Right. Maybe I shouldn't do it today. I was so scared. And then I opened. It was so, everyone was so friendly and kind, and it was really just fantastic. And then I think the other memorable thing is having conversations with people when they come into the store, getting to meet people, getting to know people in the community. I mean, that's my favorite thing about being there, and Gab's favorite thing. And then we'll be able to say, oh, so-and-so came in today and they said, you know, Joy had her baby, or, you know, we get to know the people in the community, which is great.
That's amazing. And I feel like that's life altering in a way. You're always going to look back on that and remember that. So I think that's incredible. Well, and that's part of what brought you back to downtown Petaluma too, right? Is that you loved that connection with everybody. Right. It's so great that you get to do that still in your daily life.
And I knew I had worked outside of town, in town, outside of town for a long time. I have a 14-year-old son. Right. And I had always told myself, I didn't get to be around that much when he was little, because I was the primary breadwinner. And I was working. And I loved working, you know, and so I support women who work. And, you know, I wouldn't have been a great stay-at-home mom, but I had always said when he was in junior high and high school, I wanted to be around.
Yeah.
That I felt like that was a really
Key
important
years.
time to be around. And I have been lucky enough that when he hit junior high, I opened the store.
That's wonderful.
So it's nice to be able to see, to be in town and be able to pick him up and, bring him. Yesterday I picked him up, then I had a meeting at the store. He came with me, then he gets to hear what's going on too, see what's going on in business and just pick that stuff.
That's how we operate too in this office too. Usually there's somebody's kids running around. Oftentimes Sean, sometimes mine. And I think it's important. I always want to include my kids on those calls so they can hear them. My kids come with me to showings sometimes when you need to, but also if it's a client that I think won't mind, it's good for our kids to see and learn all of this as well. So I think it's great that you're able to bring him in on that.
It's good modeling.
It is, to hear those conversations and those words and everything. I think that's wonderful.
Yeah.
And that you are able to pick him up because this is kind of a crucial time so you can hear about his day in the car and all of that.
It's the only good time to get conversations.
That is the best time to get conversations. Although my kids are still the age where they don't stop talking, so sometimes I'm like, we're going to listen to one song. Nobody's going to talk. But I know we're like on the brink of that where I'm trying to like pull it out of them. Yeah. So that's wonderful. Kind of coming off of business and more onto you, what are 3 fun facts about you that you'd like to share?
Oh, that's right. What did I have on my list of 3 fun facts? So in high school, I was undefeated in tennis.
Wow!
For 4 years in a row. We were CIF champions, so I played doubles, so that was really fun.
That's awesome.
And I really loved seeing, like, in the Argus, the local, I grew up in a small town, so we got featured in the paper a lot. Really
That's exciting. So cool.
Yeah, so that was fun. Another fun fact about me, I am a certified yoga instructor.
I didn't know.
And I also am doing a teacher training right now in Bhakti Yoga at
Wow.
Renew. So that's an interesting fact that a lot of people don't know about.
No, that's great.
And let's see. I don't know. It's a good one. Third, what would be the third one? I'm almost 50. And I'm at a point where I think we don't have enough fun in our life. So I guess the last fun fact is trying to have more fun.
I love that.
So I'm hoping you'll see more fun things come into Estuary. I tend to be more of a serious, analytical person. But life is short. We only have one go around. So, what can we interject? The float house, the handing out candy on the river, lowering down a basket of candy, dressing up for for Halloween was super fun. Just doing those little bits of silliness. And I try to interject that in the store, little moments of magic. That are just like these little things that you wouldn't expect sometime. And you turn around and you see a little altar. I have a wishing tree outside my house and have had it for years. That's so great to see. Little things like that really bring me a lot of joy.
I love that. That's great. That's really special. And I think, what a great space you have to do that, to be able to bring that to the community too, those little bits of magic like you're saying. So I love that. Is there anyone that you would like to give a shout out to that's really helped you in your career?
Who's helped me in my career? Looking back, I think when I was Carolyn at KCO, who gave me a job when I was 18. And then I worked for a woman named Judith Garnett, who had a company called Acorn Management, also in town.
Oh, yeah.
And I was able to be the office manager for her, but she taught me accounting software.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's
And so
crucial.
I sold accounting software for her and learned how to do cash flow, learned how to do everything on the accounting financial side.
Yep.
And she really gave me a lot of knowledge, and that actually propelled me to go back and get my MBA.
Amazing.
So the opportunity she gave me there to help her grow her business and learn about financing and numbers and then go get my MBA was super, super helpful. And then I would say in town now, I have a bunch of people who are just super supportive that I work with all the time. Like I just stopped by and saw Naomi at Lunchette.
I love Lunchette.
Diane Williamson, who has art at the store. I meet with her. Danielle at Keller Co-work. I talk to her. So, and Rabindra and Jen, and it's so nice to be able to, or Dan at Jupiter, just be like, hey, how are you doing this month? What are things like for you? Are you having a slow day? Because you always wonder, is it me?
Yes.
Right? We're all so
Yep.
like, did I do something wrong? Or
Totally.
So it's always helpful to be able to talk to these other business owners and be like, what are you seeing? Or you had a good
point.
day. What did I do wrong? Or, oh, we're all a little down. Okay.
That's a really good point. Yeah, to be able to see and have like your pulse on that. And also probably just seeing how you can support each other. Like, what do you need from us right now? Or, you know, so that's great.
Right. Can we do some kind of cross promotion? What can we do to help each other? Or are you going to stay open late here? Or can I do this in your shop? You know, it's great for us to try to figure out how to work together. And if you look around downtown Petaluma, you know, a lot of it's women run or family run.
Yes.
You know, couples that own stores downtown.
Absolutely. So. Yeah. I think, too, like you were saying with, you know, that whole knowledge of having the accounting software and all of that, I think that brings up such a good point because you have to have, you know, the knowledge of the products in your store. You've got to have the design aspect. And then also you've got the business side with your MBA. So it's just so impressive and amazing to know all of that comes together to be able to bring your store to life. So I just want to say kudos to you on that. That's impressive. So.
And I feel like it's something I feel strongly about, especially for women, to know your numbers and know... You know, don't not look at it because you're afraid of what to see. Once you've looked at it, then you can make change.
Exactly.
When you don't know, you can't make any change, and things are going to happen regardless. So it's, you know, it's very empowering to feel like you know what's going on with your business and that you can make good financial decisions and get that information. So
absolutely. And
I highly encourage that and am always willing to talk to people about it and offer systems, solutions, advice in that area.
That's amazing. So that's great. Where can listeners find you, you know, social media, your store? You gave out the location already, but if they want to come shop, which I hope they all do.
Yeah. So the store is called Estuary, and the website is shopestuary.com. And on social, you'll find us on Facebook and Instagram at Shop Estuary. And we try to do tips of the week, fun little reels, a lot of the cross promotion. If you want to know about our events and sometimes special sales, the best thing to do is go to the website and sign up for the newsletter because you'll be the first to know about the monthly events that we have before they go up on anywhere else.
Your newsletter's beautiful too, by the way. Just the design and everything, it's gorgeous. So.
And I work with Karen on that, who is the executive director at the Art Center.
Oh, okay.
And she helps me write that. She's got a business called Place Matters.
Yeah.
And the idea with the newsletter is really a place to showcase Petaluma.
Yep.
Right? So it talks about in the neighborhood, a community event that's going on, and then, something fun.
I love how you tie it all in together in there. So if you don't already subscribe to the newsletter, it's a good one.
No, thanks.
Thank you so much for coming in today. I was so glad to have you here. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
So thank you for listening.
If you like what you hear, please be sure to like and subscribe, learn more about Sonoma County and all that we have to offer here.